Good afternoon and welcome to this presentation about the big picture national perspectives and opportunities and adoption of AI for libraries. My name's Rita Arrigo, and I'm going to be spending a bit of time taking you through a journey around what's been going on with AI. But firstly, I'd like to do an acknowledgement of country. Our department recognises the first people of this nation and their ongoing cultural and spiritual connections to the land, water, seas, skies, and communities. So, Wominjeka. A little bit about AI in my life. I have been working in AI, in technology, for over 30 years. I started my life in engineering, and then I was involved in Australia's first internet cafe, which was a fascinating time because it was really when we were starting to learn about digital technology. And that cafe is now being recreated at the National Communications Museum, the one that was started in 1994. And it's amazing to actually see people go to that museum now and be amazed by what the internet would look like back then. And I think we're in a very similar time with AI, where we're on the cusp of the beginning, and it kind of looks, you see the AI and you imagine, well, maybe one day it might have advertising or may have different components to it. But generative AI is where we've really spent a lot of focus at the moment. But in my days at Microsoft, I was involved in a lot of biodiversity projects. For example, this was a project where we helped bring back the magpie geese in Kakadu, using drones and a special algorithm that was developed in conjunction with the Indigenous landowners. And it was super fascinating to see what was possible when you thought about AI for good. I was also involved in doing some work with Seeing AI, which was a product that was developed at a hackathon at Microsoft, and it was about using computer vision to allow the low-sighted to have the ability to understand what was going on around them, understand the people in meetings, their agenda, their age, their agenda, and their emotion. And this was fascinating because at the time, the product made such a massive impact to the low-sighted community, and it's now still used by millions of people around the world. But that same software that had that computer vision capability was used by law enforcement agencies, and there were some mismatches, particularly in people of color. And that was the birth in 2018 of responsible AI, where we started thinking about, just because you can do it with AI, should you do it? And at the National AI Centre, I was responsible for launching the Responsible AI Network, which was a network to help Australians understand how to implement AI responsibly around standards, leadership, governance, design, technology, and a range of other areas. And it is this that I'm going to be sharing a little bit more details around. Today, I do a lot of work in engaging businesses with Australian AI companies and taking them on a journey to see what's possible. And it started off in safety, and that's a fascinating area. So down there, I'm actually lifting a box, but a computer algorithm is calculating the torque on my back. So it's amazing what's possible when you start to blend these technologies. But today I work for the National AI Centre, and our vision is a prosperous, productive, AI powered future that empowers the lives of Australians. And we're on a mission to do this with 6 pillars around promoting Australia's AI opportunity, educating Australians on both the rewards and the risks of AI, growing an Australian AI business, improving Australia's AI literacy, and making trusted and AI practices. And I'm going to be sharing some of that. Just last week, we launched the guidance for AI adoption, and you can download these 6 practices for responsible AI governance, as well as a range of different implementation practices. And I'll go into more details about them. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the impact of AI on libraries and the kind of things you can do and what we're seeing already. We're seeing automation and efficiency with AI being used to automate repetitive library tasks, improving cataloging and accuracy, using personalized user experience, AI-driven recommendations, engines for reading suggestions, technology literacy and education, libraries using AI to educate the community. And they always have been so good at being able to take that internet cafe and actually give it to the rest of the world, rest of the community through libraries where you could learn digital literacy. And I can imagine that AI may be something that may be also practiced in libraries as we, delve into making sure that these technological literacy is made available to everyone, as well as the ethical AI use, where responsible AI integration ensures equity, privacy, intellectual freedom, and remains its core to the library values. AI applications in library services, as discussed, the metadata of automation. AI can automatically um, use resource cataloging and reducing errors and spreading up access to library materials, personalized recommendations. We are seeing AI-driven chatbots to provide instant reference help and answering queries and guiding users through search efficiently, as well as natural language processing for other kinds of capabilities. So, as well as AI can support finance users. Um, so users can be informed with when AI influences library recommendations or address algorithmic bias. Clear roles for oversight ensure AI with ethical boundaries and providing privacy and data protection, where protecting patron data is essential due to the sensitive information being handled by libraries. But generative AI, as discussed earlier, has really changed everything. So since 2022, we've been going through a roller coaster of a parade of range of different models, from OpenAI to Claude's Anthropic to Meta's Llama. Samba Nova is a specialist company that's actually building these high-tech super chips that are integrated with their models so that they're super secure. In Australia, we also have Sovereign Australia AI, where they're working on specific cultural models that are suitable for Australia. We also have Gemini, which is from Google. Some of you may be using Copilot, and it's really interesting that Copilot and OpenAI are very similar because Microsoft has a partnership with OpenAI. So you'll find that it's very similar in the platform because you're basically using the same thing. And we also have in France, we've got Mistral and a new tool that I've started to use, which is really fascinating and which is kind of referred to as vibe coding. And the most popular one is Lovable. And the work that Lovable's doing is this idea of being able to code. And, like, for example, I sent a picture to Lovable and asked it to create a website. And this was created in 15 minutes, which is just amazing. So it's a really fun thing to start to imagine the kind of things that's possible with vibe coding. So I think that we're going through these horizons at the moment. So at the moment, we're in this efficiency horizon where we're working with co-pilots, compressing tasks, drafting, summarizing, coding, scheduling. Next one is agentic, where you'll be able to set goals, plan, decide, collaborate, and it will escalate when unsure. And finally, we'll be looking at physical intelligence, where embodied AI and robotics will perceive and manipulate and adapt. In Australia, we have a thriving AI ecosystem with over 1,333 companies using AI and 858 of them being dedicated AI companies. And hiring has tripled since 2015. And it's spread across industries in energy, resource utilities, and healthcare. And you can actually download a report which will take you through some of the things that are happening in AI in Australia. And what's really interesting is that it's actually having an impact on all industries, from healthcare, where this year we had AlphaFold, which won the Nobel Prize, which actually uses a generative AI to calculate all the proteins, the physical dimensions of proteins. And that's really changing the way we're doing drug discovery through to construction, cybersecurity, climate and carbon. So lots of work happening in that space to, take move from these classical models to the more generative AI models for understanding climate, in finance, in agriculture. Technology is having a massive impact because of the way that we can actually increase the way we code in creative industries and in retail. In Australia, we have a massive capability in this space as well. With in health, with Harrison.ai, who built a foundation model for X-rays. Heidi, which has got almost millions of doctors using it already as a scribe. Eyes of AI, which actually creates a digital twin in your mouth, which allows you to predict when you're going to have tooth cavities, through to Sapia.ai, which is being used by human resources for recruitment. And it's one of the most popular chatbots because it's actually, people love using it because it's so efficient and it provides great feedback. So Sapia actually was one of the companies like Harrison who built a foundation model for HR. And now that is now being used by companies like Bunnings, Starbucks, Qantas, to help them with their hiring. We also have Apate, which is fascinating because that actually has come from Macquarie University. And this is the idea of using AI to combat scam calls. So instead of you talking to the scam callers, you put your AI onto it. And CommBank is doing a trial around this at the moment. But let me just go into some examples. This is Harrison.ai, where they built Harrison Rad, which is a frontier model for radiology. And you see here that it's actually using generative AI to generate the description, but this is dramatically helping radiologists to support what they do. And it's also just received $32 million from the National Reconstruction Fund to go to Asia and expand out of Australia. This is really fascinating. This is our own tax co-pilot, which will help you with the Australian tax challenges. So, we've been told that people are actually uploading their tax into ChatGPT, but this is a much safer approach. And as well, you're going to be getting a lot of Australian data. I wanted to do a little demo around this, and it might be a little bit hard, but I encourage you to get on your phone and give this number a call, +61342317236, on your phone, just your normal phone, and you can ask Rita anything about responsible AI. She uses Claude Haku and has been trained on my presentations on YouTube, LinkedIn, and key articles, and will answer questions on responsible AI. So I hope you give it a go. This is an agentic platform from relevance.ai. They're super successful. They're really changing, they're really entering that agentic space. This is an example where 3 agents can help write an email, go to Google, research the lead, send out a personalized email, actually update that to your CRM. And these tools are incredibly popular. This was some work that I did in safety, as I was talking about. So this is a construction site, and what you can do is actually take a photo of that, and it will use a generative AI model to understand exactly what's going on in that space, look up the Safe Work Australia guidelines, and provide you with a whole lot of information on how you can actually improve the violations that are going on in that site. Super exciting because it normally would have taken a lot more time to do that. And this is making workplaces a lot more safer. Archistar is super interesting, and it's one of these companies that is having incredible success. They've been around since 2018, and you can actually put a spot on a map, and it brings in data from all the councils and planning documentation, and will actually generate the building you can build at that spot. And Archistar's having a lot of success with the complexity of building planning, and they're actually doing some work at the moment in LA to help rebuild after the fires. So why do we need responsible AI? Um, already I was explaining the story about how Microsoft had to pull their facial recognition software off the market, and you actually had to apply to use it and to make sure you're using it in a way that was responsible and accurate. Also, Air Canada had a chatbot, And this chatbot, a customer was chatting to it, and it said, "Hey, I want to get a refund for this particular issue. What can you help me?" And the chatbot said, "Yeah, I'd love. No worries. You're eligible for a refund." But then when he rang up to get the refund, Air Canada said, "Oh, no, no, that was our bot." But the thing is that it was ruled that whatever your bot says is what you say. So making them accurate is super important, because that is actually your brand. So that's why we need responsible AI. We've also had some suicides, which is around guardrails, and I'm very proud of the fact that Australia is one of the first countries in the world to actually make social under 16s illegal, and I think that's super exciting because it's going to really make a massive impact on our youth. So these are the 6 practices that the National AI Centre has put out. So number 1 is decide who is accountable, assign a senior leader as the overall AI governance owner, create an AI policy that sets out your organisations and how your organisation will use AI responsibly, and I'll give you some tools to do that as well. Train your accountable people so they can make informed decisions, understand impacts and plan accordingly. Measure and manage risks, take steps to identify and manage risks, share essential information, create and maintain an AI register. This is super interesting because it means every area within your business that is using AI, you can actually put that in the register so you can learn from each other. Test and monitor, ask for proof. If you're buying an AI system, ask for proof that it's been trained. Test and deploy, monitor your system after you deploy to make sure there's no model drift, and extend your data governance and cybersecurity practices to that. And make sure there's human control. Ensure there's meaningful human oversight, and you can build in human override points. So as I said, these are some editable templates that you can download as part of the Responsible AI guidelines. That'll give you AI policy guide and templates, an AI screening tool, and an AI systems risk template. So to connect libraries to national initiatives, NAIC does a lot of work in promoting responsible AI, and we really talk about responsible AI as a team effort. It's collective responsibility across all professional domains, not just the IT department, and that's super interesting, particularly when it comes to libraries, because you can really extend it beyond what's happening in the technology. You can align with NAIC's risk-based approach to ensure safe AI adoption. You can support our AI literacy, and I'm going to give you some tools that could be very useful in educating your communities. And libraries as ethical technical technology leaders. By collaborating with a National AI Centre, you can help libraries promote transparency, accountability, and inclusivity in AI technology integration. So key takeaways, understand responsible AI, start to play and discover, and be ambitious and optimistic about harnessing the power for better societies, the power of AI. This is some of the ways that I get playful. I like to use ChatGPT for images. This is the actual demo I created of sending that picture to Lovable, and you can actually play with it at aiaustralia.readerigo.com.au. And these are some of the images where I customize some of my talks. Um, I think, empowering libraries for the future, libraries can lead ethical AI adoption by embracing responsible AI principles, community engagement. I've been involved in talks in libraries to share to the communities with education that empowers public trust and encourages AI literacy, collaborative governance, collaborate with stakeholders to govern AI projects, and start doing small impactful projects to transform services while minimizing the risk. Here are some YouTube videos you can watch around, what is AI, what is human-centered AI. These are great. They were developed with Human Technology Institute, and we also have a 3-hour course that you can do that is a micro skill that we've adapted and made sure it's had lots of Australian case studies, and it's a great way to get started in AI. Um, We also have an AI directory of over 500 Australian AI companies, which you can have a look at and start getting your AI projects happening. And of course, we urge you to follow National AI Centre on LinkedIn, get involved in our AI guidance. And it's actually super exciting because next week is AI week. So we have a range of different activities you can attend and webinars, etc. So thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed this talk.